Okay, let's get behind some of the hockey headlines. John Shannon is the Board Hockey Central insider. John, Houston, it seems as if the days that continue, we get more and more news about another team in Texas. What's the latest?
Well, Jeff, we shouldn't be shocked about this at all. We talked about this, 3 weeks ago, that Houston had elevated itself to the #1 new city on the expansion or relocation list. What we can tell you is that Tillman Fertitta, the man who has just purchased the Houston Rockets, has met with the National Hockey League. How it's been explained to me was it was more of a question and answer period, with Fertitta asking all the questions. Why weren't they in Houston before now? Where is the franchise situation going? When will expansion be, if at all? So from that play, it was like you and me going to a car dealership and just checking out the fanciest model first and checking if you had the right color.
Interesting, though, because Gary Bettman always likes these things to be so secret, but this one is somehow leaked out.
And I don't think there's any surprise about that, because we're not just talking about expansion. We're going to talk about relocation at some point, too. And when we talk about relocation, you know, the names of Seattle and Houston, and then potential teams like Arizona and, yes, Calgary come to mind. That is a fact. When I talk to the people, my sources inside the league, the city of Calgary came up.
Interesting. And something we talked about a couple of weeks ago as well. The general manager is meeting in Montreal right now. This sort of sets the table for the later one in March, correct?
It does. I mean, it's only 2.5 hours tomorrow. And they're going to talk about, you know, possession and control with offsides. They're also going to look at how stick fouls have been used this year. Here's an interesting one. First of all, 2 players have been fined for stick fouls, for slashing. The first time in 4 seasons anybody's been fined. Here are the numbers. 432 slashing calls this year, a little more than we noticed last season, and that means the enforcement. The feedback tomorrow from the managers will be whether they like it or whether they don't.
That is a staggering stat, John. And a name here that might be staggering for some. There's a new member of the Hockey Hall of Fame board, we understand.
Well, there is, and the league puts people on. Bill Daly's a member there. The City of Toronto, where the hall is, have people on. And the NHL Players Association has a person on the board, and that person is Bob Goodnow, the former executive director of the NHL Players Association. He and Don Fehr have been very good friends, and in many ways, Goodnow has been a confidant of Fehr's, even back to the days of Fehr being at baseball. And by the way, if you have Brad Marchand in your fantasy,
yes,
he's on the IR, got retroactive to the Leaf game last Saturday.
Little ball of hate? No, little ball of hurt. Thanks, John.
See you on the radio Saturday.